Hi everyone, welcome to my Smart Learning YouTube channel. I hope you can make good use of this YouTube channel to learn new knowledge and become a smarter and happier person. In this video, we will continue to talk about the definition of globalization. In the past video, we have been talking about some of the definition of globalization, and in particular, some of the most representative definition of globalization. In this video, I would like to make a simple summary about the term globalization. In a simple term, globalization is the process of increased interconnectedness among countries, most notably in the areas of economics, politics, and culture. In fact, if we want to know more about the definition of globalization, we can get to know it from our everyday language. If there is one thing that you can find everywhere around the world, we can say this thing is a very globalized thing. So here are some of the most noticeable phenomena that you can observe from your everyday life like you can speak and communicate with people almost everywhere in the world by using the English language. The English language is the globalization language or the world language. You can find McDonald's or Starbucks almost everywhere in the world. They are the globalization restaurants, or we can call they are the globalization drink. You can also buy Nike sneakers almost everywhere in the world. Nike is one of the most globalization merchandise with a global brand name, Nike. Now let's go on to explore what has made globalization possible. The development of globalization in the modern world is made possible with the help of the improvement in transportation system and information technology. According to Thomas Friedman in his book The Lessons and the Olive Tree, Understanding Globalization in 1999, he said he has this kind of observation about the development of globalization. He said globalization is not a choice. Basically, 80% of it is driven by technology. Computer hardware and software, mobile phone, internet, World Wide Web, and artificial intelligence enable people and companies in the world to be more interconnected, easier to communicate, and increase business potential. In particular, artificial intelligence make companies to develop their business in other countries easier as it involves less human error, language barrier, and national boundaries. Liner shipping, air cargo transport, air travel, trains, trucks, and logistic companies like FedEx and United Parcel Services, UPS, have greatly accelerated the development of globalization by enabling travelers, business or leisure, buyers and sellers, consumers and services, providers, goods and merchandise to internet or trade faster and more efficient between continents. It is a revolution in global business. Now here are some of the global data about the development of globalization. The development of global information technology system and global transportation system has helped to make globalization possible. So here are some of the data about the globalization development. There are about 4.66 billion active Internet users in the world in 2021, and about 59.5% of it involve about 59% of the global population. There are about 5.22 billion smartphone users in the world in 2020, representing 66% of the global population. There are about 4.5 billion airline passengers in 2019 compared to 2.1 billion in 2009. The global trade volume of goods export throughout the world was about US 19 trillion in 2019 compared to the US $6.45 trillion in the year 2000. The inflow of wealth foreign direct investment has rose to US 1,500 billion in 2019 compared to US $1,000 billion in 2005. And the global volume of air flight has been increasing rapidly, with flight volumes reaching 54.2 million metric tons in the year 2020 compared to 41.9 million metric tons in the year 2005. Now here is also some of other data about the globalization development, particularly in the area of international business and in area of international political system. There are more than 20,000 international organizations for standardization, the ISO, have been developed all over the world. That is the international standardization of goods, products, and services in the world. That is ISO 9001, a QMS for organization to produce quality products and services. There are also more than 900,000 multinational corporations in the world with an annual revenue growth at $7 trillion. Multinational corporations like Starbucks, Nike, and Apple. The development of international political organizations are made possible with the help of the advancement of information technology. There are more than 250 multilateral regulatory institutions in the world, like the World Trade Organization, the World Bank, World Health Organization, United Nations International Children's Education Fund. And there are also more than 16,500 transnational non-governmental organizations, that is the Amnesty International, Greenpeace International, and the World Wide Fund. Now let's continue to explore what has made globalization. What has globalization been changing the world. The development of global village. In 1967, media theorist Marshall McLuhan has described the world shrink into the size of a village through the various means of mass communication systems, such as radio, telephone, television, and the continued developments in mass electronic communication technologies of the future. As people in the world can get access to the same content of information, sharing and communicating with people Whenever they are and wherever they are, it helps to reinforce integration among different countries, connecting the world into a small village. Next is another phenomenon of the development of globalization. It is the globalization of market. In 1983, Theodore Levitt wrote on Harvard Business Review, predicting the power of advancing communication and transportation technology is driving the development of a global market for uniform consumer products. Everywhere, everything gets more and more like everything else as the world's preference structure is relentlessly homogenized. The global consumer are informed towards a convergence of singular global taste and demand. Next is another phenomenal development that observed by Kenichi Omiya, the borderless world. In 1990, Kenichi Omiya, a Tokyo-based top corporate strategist and global and government advisor, has pointed out that multinational corporations' economic activity has been able to increasingly transcend other national borders, making the world a borderless world. So these phenomenal changes depicted by the three above influential theorists have illustrated the powerful force of technological and economic development, which is dissolving national boundaries and global divergence, will help to promote global well-being and greater international cultural integration. Globalization is transforming and integrating countries around the world into a single global entity without national border. For a better understanding of the development of globalization, we should look at: number one, how different aspects of economic, political, and cultural development are affected by globalization. Number two, what are the different stages of historical development of globalization and the basic system of rapid globalization development in recent years? Number three, what are the different social groups that are for or against the development of globalization?